all my Aquarius friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your December 2024 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I'm talking about Aquarius, I'm talking about Aquarius being the rising sign in the first house of the chart. This is also applicable to Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, and if you have 3 or more personal planets in the sign of Aquarius, this is applicable to you as well. When I refer to a day and a time, it's based on the Pacific time zone, so please adjust for your location. The month is going to be busy. We are going to start off with Mars going retrograde until February. And this will mean that Mars and Pluto will be in an opposition again towards the end of the month and in the beginning of the year. But this time, Pluto will be in Aquarius and Mars will initially be in Leo and then back in its fall in Cancer. Going to be a little challenging. Neptune will go direct in Pisces. It will dip its toe into Aries in March of 2025 and then retrograde back into Pisces. And this last anaretic degrees of Pisces are very important and very powerful. Pisces is your second house of money and your skills. We will see Mercury go direct in Sagittarius, and it will cross over the great attractor once again for the 3rd time, which is very powerful. It will also make an opposition to Jupiter. And Jupiter, speaking of Jupiter, will make its second square to Saturn. Initially, in August, there was a square when Saturn was retrograde in Pisces and Jupiter was moving forward in Gemini. And now we switch it up. Saturn is moving forward and Jupiter is moving retrograde. So let me pull up the chart and let's chat about what's going to happen this month. All right, so we start off the month. We see Aquarius is the first house here. That will change as we go throughout the month. Wheel will shift, but we see that Pluto has entered your first house. This is significant because Pluto is going to spend the next 20 years transforming your sense of self and who you are and how you define yourself. I would not fear this transit. I would embrace it because I believe that Pluto has your best interest at heart, because Pluto wants to remove all the toxicity that it can so that you can truly flourish and grow. We see that the month starts off with Saturn in a T-square to the sun and the moon, there was a new moon on the 30th or the 1st, depending where you are. I'm going to do a separate video on that. That was the new moon in Sagittarius. But for now, I think this is important because the new moon was at 9 degrees and it made this square to Saturn and a very loose square to Jupiter. That square is going to tighten up as we get through the month, but the new moon offers an opportunity to plant the seeds for new beliefs and in many ways to extract the wisdom from your soul's history. The Pisces energy is always going to refer to a soul's imprint, to your karmic story. And karma is really choices that you make under the veil of the human experience. So historically, you may feel tension because the choices that you may feel initially like they're kicking in that Pluto energy in your first house, and somehow you will suffer. And yet, oftentimes that suffering is psychological versus in the physical world. So here, for me, I really think that Saturn is trying to anchor in your skills, your talents, your sense of confidence and beliefs in yourself so that you can extract your own individuality on this axis of money. This particular Pisces Virgo axis being for Aquarius, the 2nd and 8th house axis, is going to have a lot to do with cultivating your skills, cultivating your voice, and then using that to create resources for yourself. And the nodes are going to move into that axis for you in January as well. So you're going to start to experience a real pull with the North Node in your 2nd house to want to move yourself forward in sort of this way that is allowing you to create more creativity for yourself, more peace, and I think a strong sense with the divine, with the cosmic consciousness. Now let's go to the 4th, where we're going to see Venus in the last degrees of Capricorn conjunct Pluto. This is going to go on for a few days. And to me, this is powerful because we're starting this opposition, the feeling of this opposition. Now, Mars is very strong in Leo, in your 7th house, because Mars is a fire sign. It's passionate, and Leo is a fire sign. Again, a lot of passion there. But Mars is stationing to retrograde, to revisit the passions of your 7th house, the type of partnerships you're creating. Are you creating peace for yourself? Are you creating a sense of harmony? Is there cooperative exchange of energy? And this is going to be emphasized by the opposition between Jupiter and Mercury. Mercury is still retrograde. Mercury is about 2 degrees away from the great attractor, and the sun is just 1 degree. The great attractor is in the Shapley cluster. It is where, when you focus your thought, the laws of the universe start to kick in, and the law of attraction starts to bring to you the things that you want. So whether you do this consciously or unconsciously, you kick in that energy. Here's that push-pull. We've got both planets in detriment. Mercury is ruler of Gemini. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. They are challenged to see things from a new perspective. They are both challenged to look at, as they retrograde, how they have been viewing and going through process to create whatever kind of resources they want to manifest, or whatever, however you want to lay out the landscape of your life. Because Mercury in Sagittarius is giving me an opportunity to look at those subtle sound bites that I tend to think, oh, I never get a parking space. Oh, I always have to do this, or whatever that little nagging negativity is that holds you back. Now we see that as we go a few days from now, I'm going to go to the 7th. We see that Venus has entered and is conjunct Pluto in your 1st house, illuminating potential transformation of your self-worth, your money, your partnerships, your friendships. And there's the stationing Mars over here. Now, Mars, it's a 6-degree orb, but that orb is going to get tighter as Mars moves back into its fall. And we feel the opposition as it gets to the 0 degree, and then that growing quincunx is going to be something else, I'll tell you. And Venus will move on from here. So that'll kind of take her out of the mix, but she will have left a lasting impression. We also see now that I'm going to go to the 8th. We'll see that Neptune has gone direct. And I think that this is a very powerful conjunction or move to be aware of, because Aquarius, we're going to see that Saturn is going to continue to move forward and conjunct with Neptune, and the nodes are going to move into your 2nd and 8th house axis. So there's going to be, in a few months, in the early part of 2025, a conjunction of those 3 points. This is, to me, very karmic. Neptune will rule karma because Neptune rules Pisces. Saturn rules karma because it rules history, and the North Node rules what we're stretching for. And when we look at it moving into Pisces, we're stretching for that creativity. We're stretching for that sense of compassion and empathy and divinity, but we're still looking at how I'm going to implement my skills and my talent. That 2nd house for you is an overlay of the individual. The first 3 houses of the Zodiac wheel indicate those early childhood experiences. So you're going to be working through something and have an opportunity to be, let go of any sort of self-criticism, any sort of perfectionism as the South Node moves into Virgo. Okay, let's go to the 11th. And this is where we see Venus making some interesting aspects. She is sextiling and trining the nodes, which is nice, but she's making this strong opposition to, again, still stationing Mars. So you could be feeling a real push-pull between if you're a feminine, literally a feminine energy Aquarian, then you could be feeling a real wanting to birth yourself and feeling an opposition to the masculine somehow. But it could also be this push-pull between receiving and taking action. Because the human experience will tell you that in order to achieve, you must work hard, pound the pavement, make the phone calls, get out there, be a go-getter. But the laws of the universe will tell you before you get out there and pound the pavement, what is your belief system about what you're endeavoring? What is your excitement level? Because I think the sextile here to Mercury, as Mercury is getting to the last degrees of its retrograde, are giving me an opportunity to combine, my sense of self, Venus, my sense of self-worth, and being aware of my thoughts. My thoughts are creating things, and it's not about judging them or trying to wrestle them to the ground. It's just this point of awareness. Oh man, there's the loop in my head. There's the loop in my head. So we have favor to being aware of that loop. And then we have an opportunity through the North Node in your third house to start to stretch in an individual way of thinking. Now, that's not so hard for Aquarius, really, but this is in a way that is sort of passion driven, sort of more with more of an excitement and a sense of adventure. And here, I think that up here in your ninth house of Libra, as the South Node is almost exactly conjunct the supergalactic center, it's an opportunity to be egoless to other people's opinions of you being source energy. This is the hugest shift of the Aquarian age, is where people will start to recognize that they are literally co-creators. And the victim energy is going to take on a whole new dynamic. So we're going through this cocooning process, and then the bursting from the revelations that we have during that process. So it's pretty significant and pretty tough, to be honest. We're going to see Mercury turn direct on the 15th, and we are also going to see a full moon in Gemini. I'll do separate videos for the new moons and the full moons. So I'm just going to move over to the 17th, actually. No, the 16th. No, I'm going to the 17th. All right, so on the 17th, we see that Mars is stationed. It's about to go direct again. The sun is about to hit the galactic center. This Sagittarian energy is very powerful because when planets go through Sagittarius, it gives us an opportunity to tap into the cosmic consciousness, the universe at large. And as we experience that, it gives us a real sense of our own power. We see the nodes are exact at 2 degrees right now and I say exact because now the South Node is on the supergalactic center. That is a point where we recognize that we are source energy. There is a trine between the South Node and Pluto, which is lovely because that gives me an opportunity to be egoless to the revelations that I have. And rather than trying to release them, I extract wisdom from them. I, Teri Hunter, am not good at releasing things. Actually, they stick to me like glue and they don't go away. But if I can extract something, rather than letting it go, I can let it grow. And that's what's going on here. The North Node is compelling you in many ways to stretch for that divinity, to stretch for that creativity, to be even a little bit more watery, in your willingness to be fluid and to be experimental. Again, we're looking at that Pisces and Aries energy being the cusp of your second and third house, Aquarius. Let's go now to the 24th, where we're going to see Jupiter and Saturn squaring. Exact for the second time. This is akin to what happened back in August of 2024. I believe it was August 19th when these two planets were square each other. Now, at that time, Saturn was retrograde and Jupiter was moving forward. Now we have the opposite energy. The 14th degree is the Venusian degree of Taurus. So again, there's something here about reconciling my family history, how it impressed upon me my own sense of self-worth. We see that Jupiter and Mars are still in an opposition and have been for, most of the month, really. I mean, they got a little ease off, but again, this is going to be this push-pull between that everyday monkey mind and the expansive thoughts, and then having these two planets being in their detriment. So, Mercury has to look at things from a Jupiterian way, and Jupiter has to look at things from a Geminian way. And I say Geminian because I didn't want to say mercurial, because Mercury also rules Virgo. But Jupiter here, it's like, where am I holding back my expansion? Where am I missing the details? Where am I missing those subtle thoughts, maybe, and beliefs that have held me back? And that would be this square right here. So this is a very powerful, this will happen again one more time, at least in these signs in 2025. So the things and the revelations that you have now will be very powerful for the wisdom you can extract later, because sometimes it takes a minute or two to really feel that wisdom. We're going to have a new moon on the 30th in Capricorn. Again, I'll be doing a separate video on that, but I'm going to go to the last day of the year. And we see what I think is fairly significant is the trine between Mercury and Chiron. Chiron is the wound that we carry. Chiron has been in in Aries for a very long time. The wound of self. We see the 19th degree here, which is the Libra degree. So here there's an opportunity, as I'm aware of my thoughts, rather than, again, trying to wrestle them down, be positive. All of that is a resistant energy. It's just that moment of awareness. There's that thought that doesn't serve me. And then rewriting that thought. I'm not going to address the square to the moon because that's very quick. We still see the square between Saturn and Jupiter, so that's going to continue on into the new year a bit. Pluto's finally moved a degree, and we see that the year ends with this opposition between Pluto and Mars. Oh, goodness gracious me, oh my. And then this makes aspects to the nodes. Okay, so there is an opportunity here through brave action of Mars. And it's not going to be easy for Mars, because Mars is been feeling a little bit wet lately, spent a good amount of time in Cancer, and as it has to head back into the emotional waters of other people and nurturing other people. And how do I allow that nurturing to how do I respond to it? How do I nurture, and how do I enjoy being nurtured? Pluto's revealing some of that. And the difference between the opposition now and earlier was that Pluto was in Capricorn. So now Pluto is looking to the future, to the renovation of the self at the 1 degree. And as we see that Mars moves back into Cancer, Mars is going to potentially have, maybe some anger issues show up, maybe some resentments reveal themselves, but the nodes support the releasing or the rewriting of it. And again, I like to say, rather than let it go, let it grow. So I would be mindful towards the end of the month. I personally think that the last couple weeks of December are a little bit sketchy, because they can be very warm and loving with family, and then they can very much expose the lack of warmth and love of family. And the Mars Pluto opposition could aggravate that. So here you are in your 1st and 7th house axis, having to really be aware and intend how you want to process as Aquarius. And you can access your genius, and you can focus in on your future, because the past is behind you. And there's really never anything that you can do about it except let it grow. All right, that's it for me for December 2024. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, my information is below. And be sure to hit that notification bell. We'll be out with lots of content coming up. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the new year. Have a happy holiday. Bye bye.